Guys, what's up? My name's Swords, and today I'm going to teach you how to play Loba like a master. Loba's one of the most underrated legends right now in Apex Legends, in my honest opinion. Her kit is perfect for solo players, enabling Loba players to get their desired loadout early with an abundance of loot to accompany her. And more importantly, she reduces looting phases between teamfights and rotations, thanks to her Black Market Boutique. Her Burglar's best vulnerability allows her to get easy access to the high ground over most legends, and can be used as a tool to engage or disengage from fights. She's a very strong legend for the early and mid game, but her usefulness tends to get more challenging as the match goes on into late game. But in the right hands, a strong Loba player will ensure their team has the best possible loot into the endgame, and will always try to have the upper hand over their opponents. And before I forget, please like and subscribe if you want to bring your gameplay to the next level for Apex Legends. These next few months, we're going to be putting out plenty of content to help the community improve. So let's get right into it and talk about how you can dominate your games with Loba in ranked. First, we need to talk about what your playstyle is as Loba in a ranked game. You need to be a loot goblin, essentially. Your role as Loba is to make sure your team is always fully kitted, always full of meds, ammo, and the best guns and attachments. You're going to want to be very supportive and taking care of your teammates. Check up on them. Ask them what they need. Well, then again, I don't use game chat, but if you do, just ask them. Just ask them if they need a backpack or anything like that. Alternatively, if you don't use game chat like me, then what I would do is open up your inventory and then look at the bottom left. You can see if your teammates are missing backpacks, knockdown shields, helmets, as well as the rarity of that loot. What you want to do, check often. Your job as a Loba player is to make sure that your team is decked out. Do not fail your team. They're counting on you to get them the best loot possible. Make sure that they have ammo, make sure that they have meds. This is your job. Trust me when I say if you take care of your team's going to take care of you. If you deck out your team at every opportunity, they're going to be looking strong throughout the entire game, which puts more positive RP in your pocket. You don't want to hog all the loot though. Please don't be that guy. Don't be that guy to take everything and not leave anybody anything. Please don't leave breadcrumbs. Leave cakes, but just leave behind good loot. You know what I mean? Like, be a good teammate and bring weapons, attachments, gear for your teammates. That way you guys are all looking decked out. And also, if your team gets respawned, that's your job to make sure that they get good loot. So I'm going to break the rest of this video out into 3 different segments. I want to talk about early game, mid game, and end game, because you have to play a little differently, slightly differently between each of these phases of the game. That way you can maximize the most RP for yourself. So first up, let's talk about the early game. You're going to want to land somewhere thick in loot and far from teams. Land somewhere where nobody's landing, where nobody's going. Typically the ends of the map are pretty good places to land. The thing is, a lot of teams like to drop hot or drop at these really popular locations, but if you land far and maybe in the distance, somewhere out in the distance, then those are the best places to go to get you and your team a bunch of loot. Luckily, Loba's Eye for Quality passive allows her to see up to 12 meters of epic and legendary quality loot. So, if you land somewhere dummy thick in loot, there's a good chance you're going to see a bunch of purple and golden things all around you. You can get a really good attachment, maybe your golden weapon, maybe like a good body shield. Those situations set you up for really good games, and you can get that gear quickly. Sometimes people do land with you, but you don't really realize, so you should prioritize getting that gear before them. And if you didn't already know, Loba starts out with 50% on her ult. Her ult charge rate is pretty fast as is, so you're basically going to get your black market really quick. Once you get that black market, activate it somewhere safe, somewhere where you have cover, where nobody's going to shoot you. Activate that ability, and before placing it, take a look at the minimap. You'll see a circle surrounding you on the minimap. This circle represents all the loot in the area that your Black Market Boutique will have enough range to reach. So you want to make sure that this ring covers a lot of loot. Make sure it covers all the buildings around you, loot bins, so that you and your teammates have the option to get as much loot as possible from that black market. Doing this will set you up very likely to get a good gun, some good gear, and if you land next to a charge tower, using it can get you another ult even faster. That way you can get more loot. Get those purple bodies before other people get them. Get your favorite guns first. If you don't manage to get enough loot, then you should rotate somewhere else and get even more loot. Do the same strat, pop the Black Market Boutique, get you and your teammate decked out, at least blues, minimum, at least blues. You don't want to be fighting teams with gray body shields. Seriously, you're not really looking good. Some of these teams run Gibby, some of these teams rock Caustic. If you're running up on a Gibby or a Caustic with a gray shield, you just might get bodied. Once you're finally looted up and your team is looted up, then go out and search for some kills before the mid game. Which, seeing as now we're going into the mid game part of this video, we should talk about Loba's Bracelet. You guys need to know that Burglar's best friend is actually your best friend, but also sometimes your worst enemy. Seriously, this bracelet allows you to be aggressive and it's also your escape tool. To use the bracelet effectively, hold down your ability to see the arc of where it's heading. And when you throw it, you can actually see the trail of where your bracelet is traveling above ground. So by hitting the same button that you shoot with, the bracelet will just force itself down to the ground and it can put you in a really good spot. So be very calculated in those bracelet throws. For those aggressive pushes, remember that taking high ground allows for aggressive plays. You can seriously change the tide of a fight if you take the high ground away from the enemy and fight them at a disadvantage. If you're in a fight and you somehow get locked down or suppressed with fire, the best thing you can do is use the bracelet to teleport from cover to cover. Remember, there's a short animation during and after the teleportation sequence, so you are vulnerable during this state. Being able to escape from a fight is really good in ranked, especially in solo play. But be careful, as your teleport can drop you off right in the middle of an enemy squad if you're not careful of where you're throwing it. Only use this ability when you absolutely need to. Don't make it a habit to use it every time you have it, because it has a long cooldown and it should only be used when you absolutely need to use it, or if you want to take control of an advantageous position. Remember, the difference between a good and a bad Loba depends on how that Loba uses their bracelet. And guess what? I got some movement tips for you with Loba's Bracelet. You can gain extra mobility with the bracelet on Octane jump pads. You can also bunny hop while your bracelet is traveling in midair to get extra speed and momentum, plus you make yourself a harder target to hit in clutch situations. If you want to learn how to bunny hop and you're on a controller, make sure your crouch is set to hold. All you got to do is get into a slide jump, and after you jump, keep your crouch button held and just jump every time you hit the ground. If you're on a mouse and keyboard, do the same thing. After the slide jump, keep your crouch button held, except to keep your momentum, you have to use your mouse to look to the left and right every time you jump. So in order to bunny hop with Loba, after the slide jump, throw it. You want to throw the bracelet after the jump and then continue the bunny hop. You can get through certain windows with the bracelet, but be warned, you can't use the bracelet to get through all types of windows. Just make sure to hold down your bracelet and look at where the arc is headed. If the arc allows you to get through a window, then you're good. It'll probably go through. Try to carry at least like one ultimate accelerant in the mid game. Seriously, this will help you out a lot. In my time as Loba, I kept using ultimate accelerants at every possible opportunity because my team, they just wanted a bunch of loot, to be honest. They just wanted fully kitted guns, they wanted purple bodies, they wanted everything. So give them everything. With an ultimate accelerant, you will keep your team decked out so much faster, and it'll help you guys push on the teams much sooner because you're decked out. Because I mean, once your team is fully kitted, who's going to loot around anyway? Go find that next team. Another thing is be mindful of which legends your opponents are. Mobile legends such as Horizon, Octane, and Pathfinder can be a threat to Loba. Since you typically like to take the high ground in a fight, these legends like to take the high ground on you too. So be careful of them, don't let them jump you like that. One of the biggest things I can tell you about Loba in mid game is to think of her Black Market Boutique as a loadout drop. When running up on teams fighting, pop that black market real quick so you can steal good loot from that fight before you engage. This could potentially screw someone over in that fight, which may help you in the near future. For those of you that are playing Call of Duty Warzone, when you get a loadout drop, you basically get whatever loadout you want. Her Black Market Boutique is basically the same thing. You can get whatever gun you want, typically. You can pretty much get anything you want out of that thing. So, think about what weapons work best in your current situation. Now, the point that I'm really trying to drive home here, like a home run, you know how in games like Grand Theft Auto, you can practically have every gun in your arsenal? So if you see like a bunch of guys in front of you, you're probably going to use an assault rifle SMG, right? However, you see a car coming at you, you're probably going to use an RPG, right? Well, in Apex, whenever you're Loba and you have a Black Market Boutique, if you're fighting someone at a distance, pop the Black Market, maybe you want to pick up a sniper and fight them. Why not, right? Or if you're about to get into a close range fight and you don't have a shotgun, maybe you want to pop that Black Market so you can get a Mastiff or something. But let's be honest here. If you want to run the best loadout, just run the R301 of the Mastiff. And if you want to know why, check out my video on how to reach Masters solo. Seriously, those tips work. Shield swapping is also a pretty good tip that you can use in the middle of a fight or right before a fight, or maybe right after a fight. It's generally just a really all-around good tool to use as her, even if the body's a gray. You never know who's running up on you. You can use the Black Market to also block doors. It helps out a lot when you're running from a team and they're pushing you hard, and maybe you need more than one door blocked. You can just block one door at the Black Market, and then use yourself to block the other. Also, if your teammate gets finished during a fight, Popping a black market and looking for a respawn beacon might save you and your teammate a lot of time, and you can drop them right on their loot. But most importantly, be smart about it. Keep in mind, whenever you throw down that black market, a pulsating radiant light shoots out from your black market, basically telling everyone around your perimeter where you are. And when you take loot, a line goes right back to exactly where you are. So be careful about it. It attracts attention, alright? Only use it when you think you can get away with it. Now moving on to the end game. The end game is super sweaty and ranked, at least in the higher tiers. The black market can be strong when you're bunkered down inside a building with like a caustic or maybe a Gibby, or even a Watson. But it's pretty weak in open areas. You typically don't want to rock that black market open areas, or if you do, just know it's going down. It's going down so quick. So only pop it if you need ammo or meds, something you can grab really fast. The best thing you can do with Loba in the end game is if you're inside of a building, which is the best situation for her in the end game, then what you can do is you can actually gather together all the meds in the area, all the body shields in the area, grenades, and bring them to your location. Just keep popping that black market over and over and over. That's what you're really going to want to do. It takes it away from enemy teams, and it allows you to use more resources on the enemy in such a tiny zone. So you can just noob tube grenades all day. Now let's talk about some of the cons behind playing Loba in rank. Some of the things that you guys should definitely be aware of. So the biggest thing is her bracelet. Just as much as it's your best friend, it's also sometimes your biggest enemy. Sometimes the bracelet doesn't work when you try to throw it against an edge surface, like on a slanted roof, for example. A lot of these roofs are in swamps actually, and you'll notice that the bracelet actually won't teleport you and it'll be recalled. It's annoying when that happens, and it sucks when that leads to your death. It sucks. They're working on a fix for that, but I needed to let you guys know that that's probably the biggest con for Loba right now. Another thing with Loba is she is kind of weak towards the end game. For at least in the higher tiers, she's a little bit weaker. Legends with offensive abilities like Caustic Gas or Gibraltar Ultimate or even Bangalore, their abilities are a little bit stronger in final rings. It's so tiny. All her abilities basically tell the enemy where you are, so be very careful about that in the end game. But you know what? If you follow all my tips on how to play Loba right, when you reach that end zone, you should have some points with you. That way, if you do die, at least you're going out with some positive RP. But for real, usually in final rings, there's a bunch of OP guns lying around. My recommendation is pop that black market, get a really strong gun like a PK or even a Prowler, and just go ham, my dude. Try to get that win. If you guys want more tips, join my Discord. I actually talk to y'all. I like talking to y'all. Y'all are freaking awesome. Y'all crack me up sometimes. And I appreciate all the support. Seriously. Join the Discord if you're looking for a teammate or just want to talk to some chill people. Oh yeah, I also stream on Twitch, by the way. Seriously, if you don't follow me on Twitch now, you should totally follow me on Twitch. I would love to do this full time. And if you guys followed and checked me out, I would not only can I bring more content for you, but you can help me help you. Let's make this a series, y'all. Legend guides for ranked. Who do y'all want next? Put in the comments below. Until then, take it easy and peace out.